Hello everyone, I am Xerix Lord Sentinel, and welcome back to Century of Economy. The Spanish and American War rages on, along with the English and French War, and now, on to the action. Before the Spanish could take their turn, the sea began to boil around Voyanui. The island shook, birds took to the sky in fright, and terrified sailors hurried back to their ships for safety. Suddenly, as if a switch had been thrown, Voyanui sank beneath the waves. The force of the island's sinking has pulled many pirate ships away from where they rested, and has also moved the ice ring that surrounded the island. Some of its reefs have also been moved by the power of the water as Voyanui sank. The Kirsten pirates are now in a quandary. Voyanui was like a home away from home for the pirates, and it was the only reliable source of gold for the Cursed, who will be up a creek now that the island has sunk. The Spanish push forward, finally seeming to gain some momentum against the Americans. La Fuega sinks the Julius Caesar, but misses against the gemstone and captured El Cruzado. The San Cristobal is there to support the Spanish battleship. The Cheyenne takes a pounding, and the Amethyst has their sternmast removed as the Spanish advance. The Amber Flame is curled by El Neptuno and the Trinity. In the North Sea, the captured Blackwatch opens fire on the Bonhomme Richard, eliminating a mast and giving her a fire mast. The Acorazado Nuevo escapes through a whirlpool and emerges almost home. The Santissima Trinidad has made sail for the portal, and the Primer Caballero is almost finished repairing. La Muerte Rapida is not so lucky, as her fire spreads, dooming the ship. With an extra action, the Amber Flame is sunk. The Americans have few capital ships left afloat, and almost none left to launch. The Cursed sail west, into English waters, despite the willingness of the English to potentially attack them. Almost all the recent Cursed launches are sailing toward the Spanish. The Titan Kalos has been extremely helpful, giving every ship that begins its move with an S of him a +L to its base move. The Skinflayer sinks La Muerta Rapida. At the end of their turn, the Cursed launch again, this time putting several of their custom capital ships into the water. Skell's Hand with Skell, Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and Oarsman. Revenant with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, Musketeer, and Sargasso Calhoun. Sea Devil with Admiral of the Skelds, Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and 2 Explorers. The Bloody Sea with a Captain, Helmsman, and Gunner. The Plague with Captain, Cannoneer, and Siderac the Tyrant. Black Reef with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and Musketeer. The Ironsides with Lord Icarus of Destrel, a Captain and Helmsman. The Americans now face 2 opponents, the Pirates and the Spanish. The Boston and Gold Eagle tag team the Flying Dutchman, but miss several shots and only eliminate 2 masts from the ship. The Americans have gold they could spend, but have almost no ships of their own in our collection left to be launched. That said, they make one last effort to try and stay afloat, launching every Viking ship we own. The Munin, Asgard, Hrothgar, Loki, Hildskif, and Valkyrie are all put into the water at Kanoki Island and at Pyramid Island. The Requin got his same action twice on the Carnage, and seeing an opportunity, One-Handed John directed his ship into Spanish waters and collided with the hoist El Dorado. The Carnage missed all of her shots, despite her cannon bonus, but was bailed out in the ram. Incredibly, she lost the board as well, thus keeping Spanish cargo master Angelica Bianco alive. The pirates have little gold left to them, cashing in the food they get from Split Island almost as soon as it is unloaded, and using it to bolster their ranks with their plethora of mid-sized gunships. A bloody back and forth as the English continue to fight the French. English ships are arriving to the scene now, having sailed a long way from English waters. The Dauntless has docked at the portal and wounded the Neptune. At the end of their turn, the English augment their already significant firepower with some more capital ships. HMS Apollo from Fire and Steel, with Captain Percival Blake, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and Oarsman. HMS Apollo, Rise of the Fiends, with Captain, Helmsman, Commodore Rice Griffin Owen, Crimson Coast, and Firepot Specialist. HMS Apollo, Rise of the Fiends Ellie, proxied by the Algernon, with Admiral Robert Blake, a captain, helmsman, firepot specialist, and oarsman. And the HMS Dreadnought, with Commander Spencer Portland, Lawrence, Sir Watkins Defoe, a captain, helmsman, and oarsman. The Spanish play becalmed on the Carnage, keeping her in place for a turn. Preliminary shots by the Cazadora and the San Esteban have all missed. The Spanish sink the Saratoga, and the captured Lady Washington follows close behind, ready to fight her former fleetmates. The captured Acorazado is set alight and has 2 additional masts removed, as she is sandwiched between the San Cristobal and another Spanish ship. The Yankee was one of the last ships defending the line at the Shipwreck Pathway Island, and has been laid low by the Spanish. The American presence around the Shipwreck Pathway is highly diminished. Only the Amethyst remains in good condition, but she alone will be no match for the oncoming Spanish. The Americans have fallen back to Kanohi Island, and the Cheyenne is trying to get there, but is set upon by a Spanish ship. The Trinity and El Neptuno sail forward, and with the Acorazado, bring the Amethyst down to just a firemast. The Mano de Dios trails and sinks the Swamp Fox. In the North Sea, by the American colony, the Black Watch continues to shoot away at the Bonhomme Richard, and now the Providence as well. Both ships have been set on fire. A wide shot shows how far back the Americans have fallen. The former front line around Pride Rock is almost devoid of ships, and the area around Split Island is now occupied by a few pirate vessels, not the numerous Spanish and American gunships. Spending some extra actions, the Colossus crosses the bow of the Carnage and takes her down to 1 mast. Something unprecedented. The Spanish send El Rafael into cursed waters with one of their 1,000 gold coins. The Spanish declare that they are lending the gold to the cursed. Even though they declare that they are lending the gold to them, it does not mean that the cursed will be kind to the Raphael. The cursed attack and derelict the Raphael. The horde of cursed gunships continues to move toward and through Spanish waters. The pirates are not pleased to see that many cursed ships coming toward them. The Amity does not have a captain, and the Broken Key is woefully outgunned against this many ships. A wide shot of the cursed battle fleet. Word has reached them of the gold loan, and ships begin to slow and veer off. Using some extra actions, the cursed explore the Raphael and bring the 1,000 gold coin home. They spend the gold right away, launching the rest of their planned-out ships at their home island. Boneyard, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. Pestilence, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. Wida, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Sea Hag, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Banshee's Whale, with captain and helmsman. The Poor Adams, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Madness, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Hellhound, with captain, cannoneer, and musketeer, towing the Death's Anchor flotilla. Last Hope, with a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Lilu, with captain and helmsman. The Blood Drinker, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. Locker, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Serpent's Fang, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Hellfire, with captain and helmsman. And the Flying Dutchman, with Brine, a smokepot specialist, chainsaw specialist, cannoneer, and oarsman. The Bonhomme Richard is not faring well, losing another mast to fire, but managing to eliminate 1 mast from the Black Watch. The Boston, Gold Eagle, and the Viking Hires make short work of the Flying Dutchman, eliminating her last mast with ease. The Americans form a last line of battle off of Kanohi Island against the Spanish, and possibly the Cursed, as the Skinflare and Ellick are bearing down on the Munin. The Thomas Jefferson, Constitution, and Vengeance are the last remaining capital ships the Americans have on the front lines. The Gauntlet is repairing at home, and nowhere near the battle zone. The Saratoga foregoes waiting and engages, but in vain, not damaging the Trinity in the slightest. The Bonhomme Richard has used a fleet action to get to the colony and put out her fires. She is one of the last 5-mast ships the Americans have, and so is an important asset in any conflict that might be involved in until the end of the game. The Dutchman still had her oarsmen, and slipped north with a successful same action twice, and ghost shipped to safety. The Zeus and Kanohi dragon emerged from a whirlpool off of the pirate home island. The pirates have a plan, but what could it be? One-Handed John fights as he goes down in Spanish waters, taking a mast off of the Colossus. An absolute mess at the northern portal. The English had built Ramsgate at the end of their last turn, but the French destroyed it almost immediately. The English have vented their frustration and anger on the French, and the Neptune lays derelict, as well as the Revolution on the far side of the portal. The French have done an excellent job of keeping the English invasion checked. Here the Conquérant sets the forge alight, while the Charlemagne guards over one end of the portal. The French have recovered nicely from the pirate invasion. With CMP rebuilt, it's almost as if the pirates never attacked. The fully repaired saber sinks the forge. Using the whirlpool as the pirates' place to move around quickly, the French are able to send the Neptune to safety, and the Couronne comes charging through, guns blazing. She derelicts the Dauntless and damages the LE Apollo. The Premier Republique risks the ocean's edge to get into position to continue attacking the English. What the French thought was safety was not, as the storm moved and instantly sank the derelict Neptune. The French were not the only ones bemoaning the fate of nature, as the icebergs moved and slammed into the cursed battle fleet. The Runes of Odin iceberg made contact with the Phantom, eliminating her from the game instantly. The icebergs also caused damage to the other ships in the cursed formation, with the icebergs pushing a shipwreck into the Hades realm, resulting in the loss of all but one of her masts. And that wraps up this report. Things have changed drastically, as the Americans are preparing for a last stand. The English and French are now openly at war, and beating each other senseless, while the pirates and cursed are still up to something. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.